It's Tony with ThomkattLeather again. It's been a while since I did a video, so I decided I'll go ahead and do another one. We're going to be doing the bookmark. Actually, the what we have out already is our hammer, our awl, swivel knife, the backgrounder tool, the beveler tool, we have the square just for making straight lines. We actually have a pattern that was designed by my daughter that's doing the camera work, and I'm actually going to put a link down in the description to her Tumblr page so you can see some of the artwork that she does. So she's a really great artist for such a young lady. I also have a sponge and a glass of water to case the leather, which is wetting the leather. My spray bottle broke, so we're just going to have to go with what we can go with. So I'm going to move everything out of the way for a moment and we'll get started. First we're going to be casing down the leather, so I'm going to wet the sponge a little bit. And we're going to wet the leather down. And you can see how quick it's wicking away, so we're going to wet it again just to get a nice consistent. The one thing I'm actually concerned with this leather, with it being so thin, is that I'm actually going to cut all the way through it, which is kind of scary for right now. So let's let that dry just a minute. This shouldn't take too long because it is so thin. I'm going to go ahead and wet it all the way through just to do something a little different with this one than we did with the last project. So we're just going to get the backside wet as well. And as you see, it's still wicking the water away quite quickly. So we want to get it to kind of puddle just a little bit and wick slower. That gives us a lot more workability from what I've been seeing in videos and stuff. So I'm trying my best to learn. Okay, so now we've got some wicking going on. It's taking its time now. As you can see, it's still working into the leather. So I think that's going to be a good fit, or a good wicking into it, or a good casing. So we'll put this out of the way. And like I said, the basic idea was my daughter's. She gave me a really rough idea, so I kind of went off with it and squared it up a little bit more and everything. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and center the design up on the center of the bookmark. Once we have that, we're going to take the scratching awl and we're just going to trace around. And again, of course, it's okay if we make a few mistakes here and there. And just so you know, when I did say I was going to put her Tumblr page on, she did give me the stink eye from behind the camera. So I'll probably get yelled at after we get done. And the basic patterning, and I cannot speak, so the pattern that we're going with is, I guess you can call it geometrical. It's just a bunch of triangles. Some of them I'm going to be doing with the backgrounder to add a little spice to it. The way she wants it done, she wants the beveler to be done on the outside. So the outside line is going to be beveled. So this is going to be, and once again, it's all new to me, so we'll check and make sure this is transferring through. Yeah, I can see it pretty good there. Let me put another hint down this line here so I can see it a little bit better. And I do believe that my awl may be too sharp for what we're doing. because I can feel it cutting the paper. So that's not good. So I actually do have a new awl that I want to use, but I wanted to try this one here first. Let me grab that one. And this one actually does have a small ball point on it. And I did get this at Hobby Lobby, so hopefully it will work a little better. Yeah, I can actually feel that works a lot better than that other one does that I got from Harbor Freight. I believe I got that one. So we're just going to go through here and trace these lines. And as you can see on the pattern, there's a few of them that have little scribbles on them. That's letting me know, so I can refer back to that for which ones are going to have the backgrounding tool done in them. So it's not going to be the whole thing. I definitely like this awl a lot better with the ball point on it. Now, I know I'm moving around a lot. I'm just trying to figure out what my techniques are here, so work with me, please. So let's see how that turned out. Oh, I can see that pattern really well. So there are a few spots that I would like to work on a little bit, but I can see it well enough to scribe it in a little bit better. Okay. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to take the swivel knife, and this is actually my first time using it. From everything I see, everybody says it's best to pull it towards you as you're applying a little bit of pressure, so let's see what happens. I know it's probably difficult to see with my hand being in the way in the shadow. And I kind of went off my line a little bit, but again, not looking for perfection just yet. And I'm also trying not to push all the way through the leather. And something I learned from the last thing, or the last project, was let's move the project to us and let's not move to the project. So it's okay to move your leather around, basically is what I'm saying. Let me see if I can get to where maybe the light can be in a little better for us. And it's best to hold your swivel knife straight up and down, because if you go hold it at an angle, then you run the risk of it'll keep you from keeping a square cut. It'll bevel your cut. Basically what I'm doing now is I think it's going to be easier to go through and do all of my angles in one direction and then come back and hit the another angle. but definitely that ballpoint awl definitely did a much better job. So definitely going to be using that more often. And also, if you notice with the swivel knife, I'm only using this corner of it as I'm pulling it through. It's not a flat cut. So you're cutting it at an angle. Okay, so there's that. Alright, so now we'll take the beveler, and like I said, she wanted the outside beveled all the way around, so that's what we're going to do first. So I'm going to line up the corner, and I'm going to give it a few whacks. And if you miss a little area, you'll notice that whenever I miss a little area, I'll come back and I'll hit it. Okay, guys, you see basically how it's going. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and pause for a moment, and I'll come back and you will see that I'll have all of the beveling done. Okay, one thing that I wanted to do was I was going to show you how I'm going to do, or how I've done the corners. So basically what I'm doing is I line it up here with the corner at about a 45-degree angle. And there's the corner. So whenever I hit this one, it just kind of rounds it off. And something that I have learned from this one that I did not do with the keychain, is that doing the swivel knife to cut my line made it a lot easier for me to follow with the beveler. Okay, so for this next part, basically I'm going to get my little reference and kind of figure out, and just kind of go off of that and figure out which ones are going to be backgrounded. So I've got this top one here, so let's get that backgrounded in. And also another thing that I learned from the last video is to take my time on this. And as you can tell with my placement, it's been a lot better with this video than it was with the last one. So maybe you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Let's see here. So now let's see, I've got it on this big one. So let's get that backgrounded in. And with this tool, you really don't want to walk it, because otherwise you're going to mess up your backgrounding imprints. And it's always best to take your time and make sure you got your placement right where you want it. Okay, and that's going to be it for right now. I've got to let this dry out, and then we'll come back and we'll put a little bit of the conditioner on it or the dye, I mean, to let it dry out a little, or let it to make these engravings pop out a little bit. I know they're a little choppy, but you know, again, we're not looking for perfection. We're just now learning. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you back in a couple hours when this is all dried up. Okay, we're back and it's dry. I've got my sponge, and I've got the leather dressing, which is it's a dye. It helps protect the leather and all that. So I've already shaken it up, so we're ready to go. Let's hope this time I don't make a mess like I did last time. All right, we're just gonna rub it onto the leather. And I did forget to put my gloves on, so there's going to be that for me to have to deal with later. But I believe this dressing is probably a water base, because it does say on the bottle that you can clean up with soap and water. So that leaves me a little bit of hope. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the back side, since she will be, my daughter is getting this, so let's since she will be using it as a bookmark. Alright, we'll put another second coat on here just to help darken it up just a little more. And there we have it. So if you like this video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. I've enjoyed doing this. It was a little different, and as you can see from the tooling, the bookmark did get a little misshapen. There are ways of preventing that, such as putting tape on the back. Maybe we'll experiment with that later with other projects. But overall, I enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad. Got to use the swivel knife a little bit. I need a little bit more practice with that. But overall, I mean, like I said, it's not too bad. But again, you know, like I said, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, like, subscribe, share it, and we'll be seeing you in the next video.